I just find this so incredible that over half of all Americans that have credit cards are going to go into debt over this holiday season. 52% of us are going to go into debt. Our average holiday credit card debt is $1,549 per person per credit card. And the average American holiday spend is just over 800 bucks per person. So I think it's great, the generosity and what we do, but we keep digging ourselves a hole because we don't have any prior planning, and we keep falling into the same paradigm. We don't plan all year. We get surprised by the holidays, and then we get rocked with this credit card debt. There's a better way. There's a way better way. Most of us take a half a year. Most of us take a half a year. Wrap your head around that. Most Americans take 4 to 6 months to pay their credit cards off just from the holiday spend. And that the average credit card interest rate is over 20%, like well over. It's almost 22%. um, we got to do better. And so I think there's a better way, and I think you're going to get a kick out of using sequence. If there's just two things you remember from this whole chat, is that you can anticipate and automate all of your financial needs and moves in the future, and with just a little bit of strategic sacrifice, because this money is going to have to come from somewhere, you can get out ahead of things. So what you're seeing here, this is a screenshot of the rule structure available in Sequence, which is a financial router and map. And so we have 8 weeks left. Well, and for our household, we live in New York City, and you have to be paid weekly in the restaurant business. So we have 8 checks still between now and Christmas. And so with that in mind, we said, you know what, what's our budget for Christmas? We're not going to go crazy, but we got to have some fun and do some cool stuff. What's our budget? We said 2,500 bucks for me, my wife, and 2 kids. So every week on Friday, we created an automation, and you can see it here. We, on a weekly basis, every Friday, if the balance of our discretionary spending is more than 500 bucks, and it usually is by about 50 to $100, we're going to take $250 every week and just put it into the Christmas fund, to the Christmas pod. The pod is like a checking account. It's super cool and super easy to use. And once you set it up, we have a level of automation in our home, and we stress over finances less than we ever had. So what you're looking at here, we have pods or checking accounts that match categories in our budget. So you can see here we've got auto and transportation, and so our monthly budget for that is 1,350, about $1,350 all in for our car insurance and all of the related expenses with that. Credit cards, we usually spend about $3,000 paying down credit card debt. That's a long story, and I got that in another video. Discretionary spending, you can see we've already taken money out, and it's going down there to the Christmas tree. And so we had all of this is based upon automations, and every single one of these pods, these bubbles, these are sub checking accounts in our household. They're like, they're like a sinking fund. You can think of it as like a digital cash envelope, but some of these we have as cards in our wallet now. And so when we go out to spend, we go to tap to pay. If we're going out to eat, we use discretionary. If we're going grocery shopping, we use the living expenses pod. If we go to top up the car with gas, we use the auto and transportation card because they have a budget. And every time we hit a check, you can see that all of these lines that you see on the screen, those are rules where money is coming from somewhere and going to somewhere. And each of them have a credit card number, and each of them have a bank account number associated with them, as opposed to all of that money being in one account and us trying to figure out the math on what we could spend for something. No, based upon percentages or specific dollar amounts we have coming out of our account and going into these accounts. So if we want to go get stuff for the kids, it's like, sure thing. Let's go see what can we get for you this week. And it's like we got $88. So we can go have some fun and do some cute things. And of course, we could move money around from all these accounts and put them back into one. If you had some crazy emergency or some fun thing that you just had to have, you could do that. But we like this because it slows us down. But if you can anticipate it, you can automate it. That's what this is. And so that's what we're doing for Christmas. You could do it too. And so as opposed to giving 21.5+% to the credit card company because you couldn't think and create a little automation. And granted, this never used to exist before, so you'd really have to be disciplined. Now you got a great way of putting money where you need it. We have money going to savings. We got money going to emergency fund. We've got our fun money, which is discretionary. And that's really what everybody cares about, right? When you're off of work, you want to know you took care of all your obligations. What's my fun money? What's my fun money, please? And so, now, if you look down in the show notes, you'll see that I've got a link to Sequence and you get $25 off the membership. You should definitely do that. We get a sign on bonus and I get a little kickback as well. If you do this, you're going to be super proud of your moves for 2025. Do it, get out ahead of it. Don't give the credit cards your money unnecessarily. You're paying a credit card off for 4 to 6 months. Figure out an automation and then strategize where you're going to have some smart, sacrifice built in and automate it so you don't have to toil over it. It'll be a lot more fun. Let's get 2025 and knock it in the head. Let's have more money to ourselves to fund the things that we need and rely on credit only in a month for a month and stop paying interest to the credit card companies. Sequence will help you do it.